How's it going, YouTubers? Cornwolf here. Thank you for joining me for another video today. And today we've got another customer to the Cornwolf Car Clinic, and this time we've got White. He has submitted this Dodge Cornet Super B. So it's in a D class, and basically sent me a message saying that he's beat my rival time on Indy GP in D class on this car. I'm not sure how much I've ran on that track, but well done for beating my time. Since I got this message, I've been on beating his time because I don't like people beating me, but that's just me. So he's beaten my time. He's pretty chuffed with himself. He's got a couple of problems with the tune, so he's submitting it to me to help him figure out what the problems are. He says that the back end is suffering, he's losing it quite a bit, and he'd like it to corner better. He used a Forza Tuning Lab spreadsheet for the base build, and here it is. So I've put the base build and tune on here that he's done. So we're going to go to rivals. He beat me on Indy GP in D class. There it is. Quickly go to the leaderboards. Just find Mr. White on here. There he is. So it's White3260. He's one of my patrons as well. He's subscribed on the channel and he's on Stella's website and everything. I've beaten him since then because I had to. Oh, look at that Blue Enforcer, who is mighty quick. Way down there, so I'll have to give him a bit of stick for that, and then he'll come on and probably annihilate everyone on this leaderboard. So let's set him as a rival. So he's got, let me just double check that time. What time did he get? So we got a 1 minute 48, I think it was. Where are you? 1 minute 48 039. I'm not too bothered about the time. It's the time that I'm going to get, really. But what should I do? Yeah, okay, I'll go back to the tuning bit because rivals won't really help us on that. But you got a 1 minute 48, so I'm going to go test drive it. It's going to be easier to do it this way, so I can tune it on the fly. And while we wait for this to load, I've got another Audi R8 on the way to do. And you hopefully, if you've seen Harry, his car that he submitted, which was the MR2 in B class, which is really good fun to tune. This one's just going to be equally as fun, and this one's going to be more challenging than the MR2. The MR2 had its own challenges because it's a mid-engine rear-wheel drive, but this, with it being an American muscle and in D class, there's not an awful lot you can put on the car to improve the tune. White actually could only get it to 394 as well, so he's done really well to get where he got and to beat me with a car that wasn't a flat out 500. Let's give this a few revs. Let's take it for a blast and see what we think. I know he's tweaked the gears a little bit. It's taken a little bit too much out of those gears, I think. Let's see. Whenever you submit your tunes, you always give me a test anyway. Because obviously I tune my cars to my style. And that's what you've got to remember with the tunes, is although I can say try this, but you need to kind of get a feel for how you want the cars to drive. For example, Racerboy 77, unbelievably quick, but I can't use his tunes. They're very twitchy compared to what I like, and I can drive them, don't get me wrong, but they're just not quite how I like to drive. So don't forget that although I can say use these settings, the reason why I do them open source is so you guys can tweak them yourselves. Give them a go. So I'm getting the back end kicking out a little bit. I need to feather the accelerator so that back end wants to kick out. And normally I'd go flat out around there, but a bit of traction issues. close to that wall. So I can tell that the gears are struggling. He's got a race gearbox in here. So with that, I think he's done a bit of tweaking to the gears, and we should be at least in 5th, if not 6th, by the end of it. We should be trying to get as much out of this car as we can speed-wise. I think the camber needs to be tweaked a bit to get a bit of extra rear grip. The suspension doesn't feel too bad. I'll get the stats up in a minute. Handles the curbs well, which is good. So it doesn't look like we've got to change the bumper stiffness or anything like that as it stands. Down. I want to concentrate a lot so I don't get that back end kicking out on me too much. So I see what he's saying, it's just the back end, if I boot it like that, it's really wanting to kick out, and that those tyres are lighting up. I'm managing it. We had that whole AMC series on Stella's forum, using these cars in a very low class, so I've got somewhat used to using these cars in their twitchy nature. So got 1 minute 48 there, it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do, first of all I want to have a quick look at these gears, because he had tweaked them compared to what they were normally. So the way I've done it is the way Stella does it. Don't know whether this is right or wrong, but roughly. So if you're going to tweak these gears yourself, you want to do it starting at about 3 bars in on those lines. So you want to start that about there, and then you want to give them just a little bit more than each other, and like extend them along a little bit for each gear. So you see how I've gone for the next gear, it's just slightly over that line. For the gear after that, it's just slightly in a little bit more. Into the next gear, so you see how that's way out there. There, back, around there. The final gear is not too bad. Doesn't really matter an awful lot. So we'll give that a go. So that's the gearing, which it isn't going to affect the handling as such. It will do a little bit if you're banging loads of acceleration in. So I'm just going to whack this up to. This is how I would do a rear-wheel drive car, and I'm going to just take this down to 6. It's a bit overkill at the minute, so this should give us the extra grip and hopefully a bit more turning. Might have to tweak that a little bit, so let's just try this now. Try and get this car a bit more stable. So we're in 5th already, going pretty quick. Wanting to step out a little bit, but it's not as bad. So we should be able to take his flat out in 3rd. Might be oversteering slightly. Yeah, it's not as bad now in the rear. So we've set the gears up and we don't appear to be bogging down too much now. A while since I've been on this track. I quite like the Indy circuit. So there we did manage to plant it a little bit, but it didn't light those tyres up like it has done previously. So we're in 4th gear already here. Oh shit, didn't want to do that. Back end kicking out a little bit. There you go, there's a little fail for you. Riding that wall a little bit too close. I'm just going to bring up the telemetry. I'm just going to wait for them to cool down a little bit. Probably get a touch more acceleration out of this, I reckon. Pretty quick as it is. Punishing us too much for keeping that in 3rd. Try and get a better lap this time without me trying to kill myself. Probably might need to alter the diff a little bit. We'll see. So already with them tweaks, we've beat his time at 1 minute 47. So I like to keep the tyre pressures at about 32. As it stands, his rear tyres could explain some of the grip issue. Running at 31.4. Although they all run at about the same temperature. Just add a bit to them just to see how they run. A bit of a toss up between whether you want the temperature to be the same or whether you want the pressure. Everyone has their own methods, so I'm just going to add. Let's add. I'm quite happy with the gears, but I'm just going to sling that up to 40. Okay, the springs and 12 bars we'll look at. That should be okay. Diff. I'm just going to lower that a bit because it could explain some of the slowing down. There. It was great to push out the corners. See how we get on. That'll rattle down hopefully. So for this corner for this track, I like to try and take this in 3rd to keep your momentum up, and then this one's a bit of a hairpin, so you want to be taking this in 2nd. Get out nice wide. Take the apex. Get a bit, but you should be alright. Take this fairly tight so you can try and attack this corner a bit so you don't get too wide. I'm going to get the telemetry up this time again. Let's see what the suspension's doing. Whenever you're doing the telemetry for the suspension, never put your finger on the accelerator, try and drift around the corner. The reason for that is because you're adding more lateral G's and force as you go around the corner if you've got your finger on the accelerator or on the brake. So try and brake a little bit before, and make sure you get around the corner and you can turn it. But so here we look like I like it to sit around 80, because when you do put your finger down, it gives you even more. So I could explain some of the oversteering we're getting and how it's tweaking around. So let's. We're not going to want much. It's quite a heavy car anyway. So let's take this to 650. Actually, let's take it to 700. See how we get on. Too much, but we'll tweak it. It might give us a bit of a more responsive. Doesn't seem to be bouncing all over the place now on that. Obviously, it's just take about 50 off. So it's a challenge trying to look at things. Just gonna blast it around it. So I hope you guys are learning something from this, and how my thought process when tuning a car, what I'm looking at, etc. Bang this telemetry back up. And then just the different parts I put on as well in part 2. Yeah, we're doing a bit better with this one now. Yeah, that's a lot happier. Tweak the diff down. The problem is with a D-Class car, you're not going to get a crazy amount of grip, and you're going to have to deal with some of the oversteer because you can't physically put all the parts on that you need. So it's just always something to bear in mind that obviously I do my best, but sometimes you have to live with a bit of oversteer or a bit of feather in the acceleration, especially with these American muscle cars. There's a lot of power, but then you're not able to add a lot of parts in to help with that power and help distribute the power. So just be careful with that. So some of the cars that you get in of mine might still be a bit twitchy at the back. In a way, it's a matter of you learn to deal with it. You can't get every car to be 100% stable, but it's a lot better than what it would be if it was automated, or if you just slot the parts on and did nothing. So you've got to wait up a little bit. See what we get on this lap. There is a bit of corner cutting that does happen on that first corner after the hairpin, but I'm not promoting that here because it pees me off. It should be sticky grass like it is all over in Road Atlanta, but for some reason it's not on that corner. I mean, if it's grass like it is here, you get 2 wheels on it, then yes, you should be penalised. Sorry, you should be alright with it, but getting all 4 on it and not getting penalised is another thing. Does wind me up a little bit when you're trying to beat someone on Rivals and you actually watch their replay and they've just cut the shit out of the entire track, and it's just you're just cheating yourself personally if you're cutting corners and different things, because you're not doing the race properly. Just my opinion. Does my head in a bit. Some of the wheels spinning and the oversteer could be something to do with how White's built the car as well. Obviously I'm just tuning it to his build, so when I do my build it could be different. It seems a hell of a lot better now. It's getting a 147. I'm just going to tweak. Add another 40 to that. Put more acceleration out these corners. Like I say, it's still twitchy at the back end, but it feels a hell of a lot better than what it was when I first jumped in it. So I hope I've helped you here a little bit, White. What we're going to do is I'm just going to complete this lap, see what time we get, and we'll do the same as what we did with Harry's, and then I'll build it up, tune it up, and show you what I get. Don't normally use this as a tuning circuit, but it works pretty well. It's got all the corners you need. It's got a few straights. It's got the high-speed corners. What we got there? 1 minute 45.833. Pretty happy with that. We've beat Harry's time by around 3 seconds. Not Harry's, sorry, White's. Sorry, White. We've beat his time by about 3 seconds just by doing that bit of tuning and altering the gears. The gears were bogging down a little bit. When I say bogging down, it's when you change the gear and it's not keeping the power. When you change gear, it should go nah, 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 like that. But when sometimes excuse the expressions, when White was changing some of his gears, it'd be and it's that lull of it going down too much in the revs. You need to keep it at like the optimum point. So it's just an audio thing. So anyway, we will back out of here and I shall take you to the tune. So here we are at the upgrade shop. And as always, we shall start with the conversion, the engine swap, and that's stock. Drivetrain is stock. Aspiration conversion is stock. With the engine parts, air filter is stock. There's probably going to be a lot of stock parts on this because of the nature of the class it's in. So the intake manifold is stock. The carburetor is stock. Ignition is stock. Exhaust is stock. Camshaft is stock. Valves are stock. Displacement is race, so put the 7.5 litre engine in that. Pistons and compression is stock. Oil and cooling is stock. And the flywheel is stock also. Platform and handling, brakes, we've got race, Springs and dampeners is race. Front anti-roll bars are race. Rear anti-roll bars are race. Roll cage is stock. And weight reduction is stock. Drivetrain, the clutch is stock. Transmission is race. Driveline is street. And differential is race. Tyres and rims, tyre compound, we've left that stock. Front tyre width is stock. Rear tyre width is stock. Rim style, I think we've got no rims on there yet, no rims. Aero, front bumper, we've got Forza. Rear bumper, we've got Forza. And the bonnet, we've left that as stock because you won't be able to see anything if you do cockpit view. So I'm just going to do a very quick bonus bit here. So as you can see, White's got it in D394, so it's not quite got it to full 400. And what I'm going to do is, if you have a quick look, you can add, so we could add a bit more air intake, which takes nearly £10 off and 7 horsepower. Carburetor, intake manifold, again, so it's just a matter of going through and having a look at what you can do. The carburetor is a bit weird because it adds weight, adds 10 horsepower, but it adds quite a bit of weight, which is a bit strange. So White probably. Quite a bit of weight off as well. That's taken off £31, which is a lot. Now with a American Muscle, I would always try and take as much weight out as I can. So I'm probably going to go with the exhaust on there. Doesn't give me the best horsepower, but it takes off a lot of weight, so I'm going to add that. I'm only altering what is on, I'm not taking anything off. Let's find him some nice rims. They're the lightest rims you can get, so I'm taking off £22 there. There are other things you can do, but I'm just showing you this quickly. And let's upgrade the driveline. Not quite. £15. The flywheel. There we go. So we've taken off a lot of weight there, giving them a bit more horsepower as well. So that's just a little extra something for you all to see. So we've had the sport exhaust. We've added the sport flywheel. We've upgraded the camshaft here to race, and we've added in some nice rims to take that weight off as well, and that's taken us up to D400. So with that extra weight, it should handle a lot better. It's up to you guys if you want to do that. It may handle slightly differently, but it shouldn't do too much. If anything, it's going to handle a little bit better. But that's just a little extra something there, just to show you how you can get your horsepower or your class up if needs be. So let's go to the tune. So the tyres were at 29 for the front and rear. Gearing, I'll rattle through these because we did change them. So we've got 3.60 for the final drive, then we've got 2.50, 1.96, 1.31, 1.08, 0.90, 0.71. Alignment, we've got front of -2.8, the rear of -3.1, the toe, the front we've got 0.1 and -0.1 in the rear, and the front caster at 6 degrees. The anti-roll bars, we left them as they were, which is 21.9 and 16.7. 6.76. Springs, we've got 685.9 in the front, and at the rear we've got 586.9. The ride height even is all the way to the deck, 7.2 in the front and 7.4 in the rear. Dampening, again we didn't alter this, it's 10.4 and 10.2, and for the bump stiffness we're 4.6 and 4.5. Aero completely maxed out at 100 and 200. Brake, I didn't alter this, it seemed to work quite well, 55% and 145%. Sometimes you have to put your braking force up if you're not using ABS, if you're in a heavier car, so just a little tip for you there. Differential, we've got 25% and 10%. So look over to the left, you should get 5.205 for 0 to 60, 0 to 100 is 12.441, and a top speed of 154.9 miles per hour. So let me know what you think with those little tweaks on it as well. Just thought I'd add that since White was struggling to get it up to the full 400, sorry. And what I will do in the next video, in part 2, is I'll show you all my build and tune for it. So I hope you enjoy this. Don't forget to put any comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, share it with your friends, tell a few friends, and hopefully we'll grow this channel even bigger. And if you've got a tune you want me to have a look at, then please put a comment below, send me the details, and I shall see what I can do. So until next time, I shall see you all soon.